Welcome to today's transformation dive into cracking the code of your cash. Ever feel like your money plays a cruel game of hide and seek? You earn it, you stash it, you think you're doing everything right. And then poof, it's just gone. It's like your bank account is a leaky bucket you can't seem to patch, no matter how hard you try. Stick around because we're exposing a huge money myth that's keeping you stuck, and I'm giving you one simple, powerful action you can take today to start changing everything. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content that helps you build genuine wealth and freedom, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. Get this critical information out to others feeling the same way. And hey, I love connecting with you. Drop a comment with where you're watching from, or tell me your biggest money habit win. Maybe you finally stopped impulse buying or crushed a small debt. I read every single one. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Money vanishes? The real reason. You open your banking app and flinch. You've been avoiding it. Again. The numbers are lower than they should be, lower than you planned. That familiar wave of anxiety washes over you. Where did it all go? It feels like your money just evaporates, right? Like it has legs and a mischievous, slightly evil sense of humor. You earn a decent income. Maybe you're just starting out, and every dollar is precious. Or perhaps you're building something big and still feel that persistent pinch. You try budgeting, you cut back, maybe you even skip that one extra fancy coffee, but it doesn't seem to make a tangible difference. The experts tell you to track every single penny, create complicated spreadsheets, use apps that feel like they need a finance degree to operate. And you know, intellectually, they're probably right. But executing it feels like a chore, a punishment for earning money in the first place. And honestly, you start to resent your money for making you feel this way, for making you feel small or irresponsible. You scroll through social media, see people building wealth, achieving financial freedom, and it feels like they possess some secret code, a hidden blueprint you're missing. A code that, let's be honest, probably involves never having fun again, never buying anything nice, just living on beans and tap water for the rest of your life, right? That's the story we tell ourselves. The big myth isn't necessarily that you're fundamentally bad with money, or that you just don't earn enough, or even that you're only undone by huge, reckless purchases. The truly surprising insight, the hidden truth, is that your money isn't primarily disappearing because you're overspending in massive, obvious ways. Though yes, that can happen. It's disappearing because you're spending unconsciously. Think of it less like a catastrophic dam burst and more like a million tiny leaks you don't even notice. It's not the big-ticket items that consistently break the bank. It's the relentless, unnoticed, almost invisible drip, drip, drip of unconscious spending. Each drip is small, insignificant on its own. Maybe a quick convenience store purchase, an app subscription you forgot about, an extra delivery fee, that one small impulse buy at the checkout. But added together, over a week, a month, they create a flood that drains your account before you know it. The cause-effect here is simple. Lack of awareness about where small amounts go leads to a significant lack of control over your overall finances. You lose connection with your money's flow, and where attention goes, energy and money flows. When your attention isn't on your spending, your money flows away from you without permission. So what's the first step in patching these leaks? Just for today, Let's simply acknowledge the feeling of money slipping away. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't judge the feeling or the situation. Just notice it. Acknowledge that feeling of unease or frustration, and then engage your intuition before your bank statement. Ask yourself, honestly, where do I think my money went this past week? Take a guess. Was it coffee, lunch, online shopping, groceries, unexpected bills? Write down 3 to 5 specific guesses about where those unknown dollars might have vanished to. Don't peek at the bank or your budgeting app yet. This simple act of conscious estimation is the very first step to regaining control. Okay, so you took a shot. You leaned into the discomfort a little and wrote down where you thought your money went over the last few days. That requires courage, honestly. Many people never even get that far. But awareness is a journey, not a single destination. And the next step is where the real magic, and sometimes the real pain, happens. Now for the moment of truth. Pull up your bank statement or your credit card statement for the last 3 to 5 days. We're keeping it short to make it manageable and immediately impactful. Compare your honest guesses from the previous step to the cold, hard reality of the numbers. For many, this is where the biggest surprise lives. It's the financial equivalent of stepping on a Lego in the dark. You thought you knew the layout, but bam! There's something unexpected that makes you wince. Most people zero in on the $5 coffee or the $10 lunch as the problem. And while yes, those daily habits add up, they often aren't the primary culprits eating away at your financial potential. It's like trying to bail out a sinking boat by scooping out water with a teacup while ignoring the baseball-sized hole in the hull. The leaks aren't usually the obvious conscious purchases. They're the forgotten subscriptions you signed up for on a free trial and never canceled. The cumulative cost of convenience fees when you needed cash fast, or the little impulse buys that felt utterly insignificant in the moment. But like termites eating your foundation, add up silently and steadily. You were worried about the $5 latte, but maybe you missed the $20 subscription for that streaming service you barely use, the $15 takeout lunch 3 times this week because you didn't plan ahead, or the random $40 you spent at the drugstore on things you can't even clearly remember buying. We've all been there, trust me. My random purchase list includes things like a novelty rubber chicken and 4 different kinds of obscure artisanal mustard. But here's the deeper, more powerful insight, and this is a total myth bust for how many people think about spending. The real problem usually isn't what you spent the money on. It's the fundamental lack of intention behind the spending. You weren't choosing to spend that $15 on takeout for the 3rd time. It just happened. It was a reaction, not a decision. Money flowed out because it encountered zero resistance or conscious thought. Think about it. Your unconscious spending is a direct, often uncomfortable reflection of your unconscious priorities. If convenience is your highest unconscious priority in that moment, money will flow towards takeout, or fast fashion, or impulse buys at the checkout counter. Regardless of your stated financial goals, money, like water, flows easiest down the path of least resistance. And guess what the path of least resistance often is? The path of least awareness. So your action step today is crucial for building that awareness. It requires a few minutes of quiet focus and absolute honesty. Look back at those bank statements from the last week. Circle, highlight, or make a note of 3 to 5 transactions that stand out to you. Not necessarily the largest ones, but the ones that make you genuinely think, why did I buy that? Or, I don't even remember making this purchase. Don't assign blame. Just observe. Ask yourself, what was the situation when I made this purchase? Was I stressed? Bored? Trying to save time? This one habit, identifying the unconscious spend, can truly change everything. Okay, let's dive into the transformation. Welcome to today's transformation dive. Because let's be honest, if you're anything like I used to be, your relationship with money feels less like a partnership and more like a frantic chase scene where you're always the one tripping over your own feet. Seriously, have you ever looked at your bank statement and thought, wait, where did that even go? It's like your money just decides to go on vacation without telling you. If you're tired of your finances feeling like a mystery novel you didn't sign up for, you're in the right place. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. And hey, drop a comment with where you're watching from, or your biggest money habit win, no matter how small. I love hearing your stories. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. All right, let's talk about a crucial mindset shift. One that takes us from feeling restricted to feeling empowered. We're moving from cutting back to directing. For so many people, the word budget immediately conjures images of deprivation, of cutting off all the fun stuff, like putting your finances on a severe diet. That mindset is designed to fail. Why? Because nobody likes feeling deprived long-term. It breeds resentment and rebellion. You're not cutting off circulation, you're directing flow. Think about it. If you cut off circulation, things wither and die. If you direct flow, things grow. Imagine your money isn't this static pile you have to guard, but rather a river full of energy and potential. Right now, for many of us, that river is just meandering aimlessly. It's pooling in places we didn't intend. Maybe those impulse buys, subscriptions you forgot about, or just general spending drift. It's creating swamps and puddles that aren't serving our goals at all. This is the difference between feeling like your money disappears and feeling like you're in control. Conscious spending, true financial planning, isn't about blocking the river. It's about building canals and dams to direct that powerful flow exactly where you want it to go. It's about channeling that energy towards powering your dreams, watering your future security, and creating reservoirs of opportunity and peace of mind. It's a complete shift in perspective, moving from the negative, scarcity-driven question of how little can I spend, to the positive, abundance-oriented question of how can I spend in a way that genuinely supports the life I want to build. Let's use a relatable example. Think about a time you intentionally saved for something you really wanted. Maybe it was a specific trip you dreamt of, a down payment on something significant, or even just that new skill class that felt like a real investment in yourself. When you were saving for that specific goal, did you feel deprived when you passed on a few coffees or nights out? Probably not as much as general budgeting. Why? Because that money had a purpose. Every dollar saved wasn't a dollar lost to fun. It was a dollar directed towards that exciting future thing. You felt motivated because you were actively building towards something you desired. Here's a surprising insight that flips the script. Financial power isn't ultimately about the amount of money you have right now. Plenty of high-income earners feel broke because their river is just meandering into expensive swamps. True financial power is about the control you have over where your money goes. It's about intentionality. When you take the reins and direct the flow, you gain power regardless of your current income level. It's about making your money work for your life, not just float aimlessly through it. This one habit, actively deciding where your money goes before it just goes changed everything for me. Now for the action. Grab a pen and paper, or open a note on your phone. Finish this sentence and be specific. If my money were consciously directed, the one thing I would put it towards right now is XYZ. Example, paying off debt faster, building a safety net, saving for a specific goal, spending more on experiences with loved ones. Write it down. This is the first canal you're going to dig for your financial river. All right, you've started thinking about where you could direct your money. Maybe you have that first little savings goal in mind. But here's the thing. Having a direction isn't the same as having your direction. You can aim for a target, but if you don't know why that target matters to you, you're essentially navigating blindfolded, hoping you bump into success. This brings us to a fundamental concept, something that acts as your internal GPS for money: your values. What genuinely, deeply matters to you? Is it the quiet security of a solid financial cushion? Is it the exhilarating freedom to travel or change careers? Perhaps it's the relentless pursuit of growth, investing in yourself, learning new skills. Maybe connection is paramount, wanting to use your resources to support loved ones. Or is it contribution, finding purpose in giving back to causes you believe in? Think of your core values as the compass for your financial life. If your spending, saving, and investing don't align with these inner principles, you will inevitably feel financially adrift, no matter the number in your bank account. It's like trying to sail north when your compass is screaming south. You're putting in effort, but the destination feels wrong. Let's look at how this plays out. For a beginner, just finding their financial feet, valuing security, might mean prioritizing building a small emergency fund, even if it means saying no to the latest gadget everyone else is talking about. Their security value is their compass, directing those first dollars towards stability. A mid-earner who values growth might actively invest in courses, books, or coaching, seeing their money as fuel for personal and professional expansion. They're using their growth value to guide their cash flow. An ambitious builder, someone accumulating significant wealth, might strongly value contribution. Alongside smart investments for future security and growth, they intentionally allocate funds to support charities or community projects they believe in. Their contribution value guides a portion of their resources outwards, creating a sense of purpose tied to their finances. Now, here's the surprising, slightly uncomfortable truth. Until you consciously define your own values, you are effectively letting the world define them for you. Advertising whispers what should make you happy. Social media shows you what others have, creating artificial desires. Convenience nudges you towards easy, often expensive choices. Without your own inner compass, you're simply following someone else's directions, ending up in a place that likely doesn't resonate with your true self. It's like borrowing a friend's grocery list. You end up with ingredients you don't need for a meal you didn't want to cook. This isn't just about big purchases. It's the cumulative effect of daily spending decisions being guided by external noise rather than internal wisdom. People often underestimate the subtle power of this external pressure until they consciously push back. This realization was huge for me, understanding that feeling scattered with money wasn't a lack of discipline, but often a lack of direction, a lack of my own direction. So, here is your prompt for action, and I encourage you to take it seriously. Take just 5 minutes right now. Seriously, pause this video if you need to. Grab a pen and paper or open a note app. List 3 to 5 core values that truly, deeply resonate with you. Think about moments you felt truly fulfilled, truly yourself, truly alive. What was underlying those moments? Were they about freedom, security, learning, helping others? These are the non-negotiables for your life, the bedrock upon which you can build a financial structure that actually supports the life you want to live. Don't overthink it. Trust your gut. This one habit changed everything for me, turning financial tracking from a chore into a journey with a meaningful destination. All right, you've done the groundwork. You've peeked behind the curtain of your spending, maybe even circled a few transactions that made you pause or scratch your head. Good. Now let's take those moments of pause and connect them to something far more fundamental, your values. This is where we start finding your value leaks. Think of your core values: health, growth, connection, security, freedom, creativity, whatever they are for you. These are the bedrock of what you say matters most in your life. They are your internal compass. Now, look back at those specific transactions you questioned or didn't quite remember making. Do they actually align with that compass? This is the surprisingly simple, yet brutally honest, step of identifying value leaks. A value leak isn't just an overspend. It's spending your precious resources, money, yes, but also the time and energy it took to earn that money, on things that actively work against what you claim to value. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. You keep pouring in the effort, earning, but some just drains away pointlessly because it's misdirected. If you genuinely value physical health and vitality, but those circled transactions feature multiple impulsive fast food stops each week because you didn't plan meals, congratulations, you've found a health-related value leak. It's spending that adds empty calories to your life budget. If you value personal growth and learning, yet those circled items include impulse digital purchases of online courses you never opened, or endless hours spent on passive entertainment you didn't even enjoy, that's a growth leak. You're essentially buying potential you're not accessing. Value security and building a financial cushion? Yet you circled expensive, unnecessary upgrades or subscriptions you rarely use? That's a security leak, diverting funds from your peace of mind. Perhaps one of the most common, almost ironic, value leaks relates to connection. Many people deeply value spending quality time with friends and family, yet they find themselves spending unconsciously on solitary activities that don't truly fulfill that need. Maybe endless scrolling that feels mandatory, or buying things purely for a temporary solo dopamine hit. They do this unconsciously. And then when an opportunity arises to connect with a friend for dinner or an experience, they look at their account and feel they can't afford it. They've leaked the funds meant for connection into isolation. It's like paying a membership fee for a club you never attend, while complaining you don't have enough money to join the one you actually want to be in. Here's the surprising insight, the kind that often gets overlooked. Value leaks aren't merely budget problems. They are fundamentally life problems, masquerading as financial ones. They cost you not just dollars and cents, but finite time, irreplaceable energy, and perhaps most significantly, they erode your alignment with what truly, deeply matters to you. They create a disconnect between your actions and your intentions. This isn't about deprivation, it's about direction. You're not just leaking money, you're leaking life force. So, what's the action step from this realization? Make it concrete. Try this for a week. Take your list of core values, the ones you identified earlier. Pick one, just one. It could be health, growth, connection, anything. Now, review your spending from the last 7 days specifically through the lens of that single value. Ignore everything else for a moment. Ask yourself, in the past week, did any of my spending actively work against this one value? Identify one specific way your spending caused a value leak related to that single chosen value. Don't try to fix everything at once. Just identify that single point of leakage. This one habit of focused awareness can change everything. All right, let's talk about a moment that trips up so many people on their financial journey. That tiny, seemingly innocent instant right before you click buy or hand over your card. We're talking about the impulse. This is the ninja of unconscious spending, expertly bypassing your carefully crafted budget and your deepest values. It's that little voice, sometimes whispering like a mischievous friend, saying, "Just buy it," or, "Oh, you absolutely deserve this," right when your brain is least prepared to argue. The core concept here is creating friction, building a deliberate, conscious pause between the impulse flashing through your mind and the action of spending the money. Think of it like a speed bump on the highway of instant gratification. It doesn't need to be complicated or involve complex calculations. For online shopping, which is a massive trigger for many, a simple, effective pause is the 24-hour cart rule. You add things to your cart, but you must walk away for 24 hours before reviewing and deciding. For in-person spending, it might be physically stopping yourself, taking a deep breath, literally grounding yourself, and asking one focused question before you proceed. You see that shiny new gadget or that trendy piece of clothing? Your immediate primal instinct screams, want. The pause is that crucial moment you intentionally inject thought, consideration, and a connection back to your plan. Here's the surprising insight, the one that changed everything for me. Most impulse purchases aren't actually about needing the item. They're about chasing a feeling. That fleeting thrill of acquiring something new, the dopamine hit of the buy button, the temporary ego boost of owning the latest thing. It's like getting a quick sugar rush. It feels good for a second, but the energy crashes fast, and often you're left feeling worse than before. The hit is temporary, a fleeting ghost of satisfaction, and it's almost always followed by a familiar cocktail of regret or guilt, especially when you look at your bank balance later. People often underestimate the emotional cost of these small, unplanned decisions. Let's break down the cause-effect clearly. Impulse, seeing something desirable, feeling stressed, bored, or excited. Immediate desire, chasing a feeling. Action, buying without thought. Temporary hit, regret, guilt. Financial drain, money is gone, often for something not truly valued. The pause disrupts this chain. Impulse, pause, stopping, breathing, asking a question. Thought, connecting to values, needs, budget. Conscious decision, aligned with plan or deciding not to buy. Avoided regret, saved money, increased financial confidence. This one habit, the intentional pause, changed everything for me regarding unplanned spending. It shifted me from reactive buying to proactive deciding. Your challenge, should you choose to accept it, identify one common impulse trigger for you. Is it seeing online ads? Walking past a specific store on your commute? Feeling a certain emotion like stress or boredom? Pinpoint just one. Then, decide on one simple, repeatable action you will take every single time that trigger appears to create your pause. Will you immediately close the tab? Physically turn around and walk around the block? Set a 10-minute timer on your phone before any decision. Pick one trigger, one action. Try this for a week and see what happens. What's stopping you from introducing this simple friction? Okay, let's dive into expanding Section 7 according to the plan. Section 7. Your spending plan, not a budget. All right, let's just be honest for a second. How does the word budget make you feel? For so many people, it lands like a wet blanket on a sunny day. It feels restrictive, like a financial straitjacket telling you no over and over again. It's a word loaded with baggage, often associated with sacrifice, cutting back, and depriving yourself of things you enjoy. And honestly, that negative association is often the first hurdle that trips people up before they even start. It's a psychological barrier built on years of feeling constrained, maybe even a bit judged by the idea of rigidly tracking every single penny you spend. But what if we just ditched the word? What if we reframed it entirely? Let's call it what it really should be, a spending plan. Or, if you want to get really strategic about it, a value allocation system. See? Doesn't that just sound more empowering? This isn't about policing yourself after the fact. It's about getting intentional before the money even hits your account. Think of it like designing your dream week before it starts. You wouldn't just wake up Monday and hope things fall into place, right? You'd schedule time for work, for rest, for family, for hitting the gym, maybe even time just for chilling out. Each block of time has a purpose. Your money is exactly the same. It's a resource, and you get to assign every single dollar a job, a purpose, a destination, based entirely on what you value and what your goals are. This isn't about cutting spending just for the sake of cutting. It's about assigning spending with intention. Some of your money is absolutely for survival, covering the rent or mortgage, keeping the lights on, buying groceries to nourish yourself. That's foundational. But then you intentionally allocate funds for security, building up that emergency fund, aggressively paying down high-interest debt, setting aside money for future goals like a down payment or retirement. This is about building a safety net and a launch pad simultaneously. Beyond that, money needs to be allocated for growth, investing in yourself through courses or books, funding investment accounts, buying tools or resources that help you earn more or improve your skills. And crucially, some of your money needs to be allocated for joy and experiences, aligned with your values. This is where it gets really powerful. Instead of a generic, boring groceries line item, where you feel guilty buying that slightly more expensive grass-fed beef or organic produce, maybe your spending plan allocates a bit more specifically for health and wellness groceries, because vibrant health is a core value for you. Suddenly, that spending isn't an indulgence, it's an investment in a value. Or maybe you struggle with impulse buys on clothing or gadgets. Your plan might allocate specifically for mindful enjoyment, giving yourself permission to spend a set amount guilt-free on something that brings you genuine happiness, because it was part of the plan. Maybe you value adventure or learning. You could allocate funds specifically for a monthly adventure fund or a learning new skill fund. Here's the truly surprising insight. the real magic trick that challenges everything you thought you knew about budgets. Giving your money a job on purpose before you spend it completely eliminates the guilt from spending it. Think about it. If you decided that $100 of your paycheck was specifically designated for a nice dinner out with a loved one, because connection and experiences are values you cherish, then when you swipe your card at the restaurant, there's no internal struggle. There's no, should I be doing this? Or, this feels irresponsible. It was meant to be spent on that exact thing. It's already fulfilled its purpose in your plan. It feels deliberate, powerful, and right. This one shift changed everything for me. It turned a restrictive exercise into an empowering act of aligning my money with my life. So let's make this practical right now. Here is your immediate action step. And yes, it challenges the common thinking of waiting until the money is there to decide. Look at the money you anticipate receiving next. Your next paycheck, that client payment, whatever the source. Before it even arrives, decide the purpose of the first 10% of it. Don't overthink it. Assign it to a value or a goal that matters to you right now. Is it security? Allocate it to debt payoff or savings. Is it growth? Assign it to a new course or investment. Is it a deeply held value like contribution? Set it aside for charity. Assign it. Give that money its marching orders before it lands. Try this for your very next income source, and just notice how it feels to have already given that portion a meaningful job before it even hits your account. Welcome to today's Transformation Dive, right here on Earn Flow Zone. Ever feel like you're stuck in a financial Groundhog Day? You make money, you spend money, maybe you save a tiny bit, and the cycle just repeats, often leaving you feeling, well, like you're not really getting ahead. Or worse, like you're always one unexpected bill away from everything going sideways. It's like trying to build a skyscraper with a plastic shovel. You're putting in the effort, but the tools and the mindset aren't quite right for the massive growth you're capable of. People often treat personal finance like a diet, full of restrictions, guilt, and deprivation. Can't buy that. Shouldn't do this. Why did I spend money on that? And just like restrictive dieting often leads to binging, a restrictive, fear-based approach to money often leads to impulse buys, hiding purchases, and a general feeling of scarcity that keeps you small. But what if managing your money felt less like a chore and more like building a personalized treasure map? One that actually leads to the life you want, not just the one you feel stuck with. That's what we explore here. Real, actionable steps combined with the crucial mindset shifts that actually make your money work for you, not just through you. We're talking about building a financial life that feels abundant, intentional, and empowering. If you're ready to ditch the plastic shovel and start building that skyscraper with confidence and clarity, you are in the right place. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. And hey, drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win. Sharing helps us all grow. Okay, let's dive in and change the way you think about success. All right, let's talk about something radical. Spending money. Specifically, spending money joyfully, without that nagging cloud of guilt following you around like a shadow. This might sound counterintuitive, especially when so much financial advice focuses purely on saving and cutting back. But here's where the real magic of conscious finance happens. When you consciously and intentionally allocate money towards something you truly value, something that genuinely enhances your life, brings you happiness, or moves you closer to a meaningful goal, you get to spend it without guilt. Think about it. You've planned for this. You've made the choice, perhaps sacrificing something else, or earning the money specifically for this purpose. Maybe it's investing in a comfortable home that serves as your sanctuary, paying for quality education that expands your opportunities, spending on experiences with loved ones that create lasting memories, or yes, even just consistently buying genuinely good coffee that starts your day with a small moment of bliss. When you make these purchases, they aren't random acts of spending. They are aligned investments in your well-being, your relationships, your future, or your daily happiness. Here's the surprising insight, a real mythbuster. Joyful, conscious spending on values is actually more fulfilling and sustainable in the long run than guilt-ridden, unconscious impulse spending on things you don't truly care about. When you splurge on something you didn't plan for, that doesn't align with your goals, and you feel guilty afterward, that reinforces a scarcity mentality. It tells your brain, money spent is money lost, and I made a mistake. But when you spend money according to a conscious plan on something you truly value, it reinforces a mindset of abundance and purpose. It feels like you're using your resources wisely to build the life you want. Consider this example. You've set aside funds in your budget specifically for travel because you deeply value adventure and connection. When you're on that weekend getaway that you planned and budgeted for, you're not plagued by the nagging thought, should I really be spending this? Instead, you are fully present, immersed in the experience, enjoying the meals, the sights, the moments. You feel a sense of freedom and joy, not anxiety. Paradoxically, this intentional spending makes you feel wealthier, richer in experience and satisfaction, even if the actual amount spent is the same as an impulse purchase that would have left you feeling empty and guilty. Guilt around spending, even on things you value, reinforces that scarcity mindset we talked about. It's like punishing yourself for using a tool, money, for its intended purpose, improving your life according to your definition of value. When you know a purchase aligns with your values and is part of your plan, a true investment in your well-being or goals, it transforms from a simple indulgence into a powerful act of self-support and intentional living. This one habit, shifting from reactive, guilt-based spending to proactive, values-aligned spending, changed everything for me in how I felt about my money and my life. Try this for a week. Intentionally spend money on one thing, however small. That is 100% aligned with one of your core values. Maybe it's the ingredients for a meal you love to cook because you value creativity and nourishment, or a high-quality pen because you value thoughtful work, or even just saving up for that specific experience. Pay close attention to how it makes you feel compared to an unconscious, impulse purchase you might have made last week. Notice the lack of guilt, the sense of satisfaction, the feeling that this money was well spent. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. We've peeled back the layers of common financial struggles, from the invisible scripts running our money decisions to the power of intentional spending and the surprising link between your net worth and your self-worth. The one big takeaway, the thread weaving through it all, is this: your financial situation is less about the numbers on a spreadsheet and more about the stories you tell yourself and the intentions you set. It's a mirror reflecting your beliefs, fears, and values back at you. Imagine the potential long-term benefit if you simply start integrating these shifts. What happens when you approach your finances with curiosity instead of dread? When you prioritize progress over perfection? When you consciously direct your money towards what truly matters to you, stripping away the guilt and shame? The compound effect isn't just for investments, it's for mindset too. Each small, intentional shift, each conscious decision builds upon the last, creating a foundation of confidence and control that impacts every area of your life. You start making decisions from a place of power, not panic. Here's a deeper insight about money and growth. Discipline isn't deprivation, it's direction. It's deciding where you want your money and energy to go and having the conviction to guide it there, rather than letting it scatter to the winds of impulse or external pressure. Growth isn't about magic tricks. It's about consistent, conscious choices. Your financial future isn't some predetermined fate. It's a landscape you build, brick by intentional brick. You are the architect. You are the builder. The resources are available. The blueprint is within you, waiting to be uncovered by shifting your perspective and taking action. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. Okay, so you've mastered the basics of tracking and mindful spending on your current income. But maybe you're thinking, this is fine for budgeting on a standard income, but what happens when the income starts scaling? You're anticipating earning more, maybe significantly more. And you might assume more money automatically makes conscious spending less crucial because, hey, you can just afford things now, right? But here's the twist, and it's a big one that trips up many rising earners. Conscious spending doesn't become less important as your income grows. It actually becomes critically more important. That's right. The need for awareness scales up dramatically, not down. Why? Because the potential for unconscious spending and value leaks explodes when you have more zeros flowing through your accounts. It's like upgrading from navigating city streets on a bicycle to piloting a high-performance jet. A small miscalculation on the bike is easily corrected, but a tiny error in the jet can have massive, costly consequences. The biggest risk factor? Lifestyle creep. This is the silent killer of wealth, especially potent for those seeing their earnings increase. You earn more? Fantastic. Your brain's immediate reaction is often, great, now I can afford that. And suddenly, without a deliberate decision, your spending naturally expands to fill the new capacity. The bigger house that needs more expensive upkeep, the fancier car with steeper payments and higher insurance, the endless stream of impulse upgrades and more expensive habits. They just happen because the money is available. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a leak that grows bigger the faster you pour. Earning more just means you're pouring faster. But if the leak, unconscious spending on things that don't truly serve you, also gets larger, you're still not keeping much water, wealth, or surplus. People often underestimate just how quickly unconscious spending can absorb a significant income increase. An ambitious builder who values freedom, time, and building assets might suddenly find themselves dropping thousands every month on status symbols. Luxury watches, high-end restaurant meals, designer clothes. Things that provide fleeting boosts but don't contribute one bit to their freedom or asset base. Or a mid-earner who gets a promotion upgrades their daily coffee habit to gourmet. Their takeout frequency triples. They subscribe to 3 more streaming services. Their car payment jumps significantly. without ever pausing to ask if this actually aligns with their deep desire for future security, starting a business, or traveling the world. They're just spending more because they can, out of habit and societal expectation. It's amazing how quickly that extra zero seems to attract new expenses you never knew you needed. This reveals a surprising truth. Unconsciousness isn't some financial bug found only at low-income levels. It's a fundamental human tendency towards default behavior, and it simply gets much more expensive the more income you have. Pouring a few dollars unconsciously might be negligible, but pouring hundreds or thousands every week or month? That's where serious wealth potential drains away. The critical insight is realizing this and proactively directing that surplus intentionally. Translating higher income into lasting wealth, security, and well-being isn't an automatic side effect of earning more. It requires deliberate direction and control over your money flow. This brings us to a powerful practice that shifts the dynamic entirely. This one habit changed everything for me. When my income started to climb significantly and I saw the early signs of lifestyle creep. Proactive income allocation. Instead of waiting to see where the extra money goes, you decide before it even hits your account. Look at your income increase in the past year, if you've had one. Ask yourself honestly, where did that extra money actually go? Was it intentional, or did it just vanish into the ether of daily spending? For any future income increases, whether it's a raise, a bonus, a new side hustle, or a business milestone, decide now on a clear allocation split. Before you even receive the extra funds, have a plan for every dollar. Maybe it's 50% to investing for long-term growth, 30% to a specific, meaningful goal like a down payment on a property, debt payoff, or funding a passion project, and the remaining 20% deliberately allocated to increased intentional spending on experiences or things that genuinely align with your core values and bring you real joy, not just status. Deciding upfront puts you firmly in control of the flow, transforming potential lifestyle creep into powerful wealth acceleration and deeper life satisfaction. And that brings us to perhaps the most powerful form of conscious spending, spending on your future self. We've talked about directing your money with intention today, but what about the version of you living 5, 10, or even 40 years down the line? That future person needs resources, security, and the fulfillment of their own values. And the only way they get it is if you consciously allocate money for them now. Saving and investing aren't just checkboxes on a financial to-do list. They are the ultimate declaration of support for your future well-being. Think about it. When you contribute to a retirement fund, you aren't saving. You are consciously spending that money on your future freedom. The freedom to choose how you spend your later years without financial constraints. When you invest in growth stocks or real estate, you are consciously spending on your future security and potential, planting seeds today for a harvest of possibilities tomorrow. This perspective transforms the act of putting money away from a chore or a sacrifice into an active, positive choice aligned with your deepest long-term desires. It's like prepaying for a first-class trip to a destination you desperately want to reach. Here's the surprising insight that flips the script. Thinking of saving and investing not as giving something up in the present, but as spending on your future self makes the decision dramatically easier. Instead of feeling like you're denying yourself today's latte or gadget, You feel like you're making a powerful purchase for future you. Imagine walking past an impulse buy at the store. Instead of feeling deprived, you can genuinely think, nope, I'm not spending that $50 on this. I'm consciously spending it on my down payment for a future home, aligning your money with the value of stability and belonging. Or maybe you skip that extra subscription because you're consciously spending that money on funding your child's education, investing in their future, and the value of family and growth. It recontextualizes the trade-off entirely. You aren't just saving. You are actively funding your most important future projects and aspirations. It's a direct cause and effect. Present conscious allocation causes future financial freedom and security. It's less about delayed gratification and more about redirected gratification. You're simply choosing a different kind of gratification that pays dividends far greater than immediate pleasure. This perspective shift is remarkably effective because it harnesses the power of identity. You're not just some abstract saver. You are the architect of your future self's prosperity. This one habit changed everything for me, reframing saving as future spending. Made the discipline feel less like a restraint and more like an exciting construction project I was actively funding. So here's your prompt for action. Identify one future value that is truly important to you. Maybe it's retiring comfortably enough to travel, owning a place to call your own, funding a passion project later in life, or providing for your family's future needs. Just pick one. Now set up an automatic transfer, even just a small amount like $25 a week or $100 a month, to a separate savings or investment account. And here's the key part. Specifically label that account with that future value. Call it Future Travel Fund, Project Dream Home, Retirement Freedom, or Child's Name Education. Every time you see that transfer happen, you'll know you aren't just saving, you are consciously spending on the future you deserve. This principle of conscious spending, of aligning your money with your values and directing it intentionally, truly is the quiet superpower in your financial arsenal. It's not about deprivation. Think of it less like a strict diet and more like optimizing your nutrient intake. You build wealth not just by trimming the fat of wasteful spending, which, let's be honest, sometimes feels like trying to wrestle a greased pig, but by ensuring the money you do spend actively improves your life. It's about making sure every dollar has a job, and that job aligns with who you want to be and what you want to achieve. This deliberate direction reduces the constant, exhausting need to chase fleeting pleasures just to feel something. More profoundly, this conscious control builds peace. It's not just the security of a growing savings account, though that's certainly a nice side effect. The real peace comes from eliminating the nagging stress and the low-level guilt that accompany unconscious, impulse-driven financial decisions. You know the feeling, that little pang after buying something you didn't truly need, or the dread when you check your bank account after a weekend of whatever catches my eye spending. When you operate with intention, those feelings start to dissipate. You stop feeling like a victim of your bank account balance, constantly wondering where it all went, and start feeling like the capable director of your financial life. You're holding the script, deciding the scenes, rather than just reacting to whatever the world throws at you. Here's the surprising insight, the one that flips the script on conventional wisdom. Financial peace isn't merely the absence of money problems, or having an infinite supply of cash. It's the presence of conscious control and genuine alignment between your money and your life's priorities. You feel calm not because you have a bottomless pit of money. Nobody really does, right? But because the money you do have is working for you, serving your highest priorities and values. It's the difference between feeling adrift in a vast ocean and confidently steering a ship towards a known destination. Over years, the cumulative effect is staggering. Someone who consistently directs their money towards meaningful goals, maybe saving for a down payment, investing for future security, or funding experiences that truly enrich their life, will not only accumulate significant wealth and assets, but will live a life that feels richer, more aligned, and less anxious. Compare that to someone earning the same amount, but spending unconsciously, swayed by every sale or trend. They might have moments of impulsive joy, but they'll likely experience far more financial anxiety and a nagging sense that they're treading water, never quite getting ahead. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from truly seeing your money not as a problem to be managed, but as a powerful tool to be directed? This shift isn't just theoretical. Try this for a week. For every spending decision, big or small, pause for just 5 seconds. Ask yourself, does this align with one of my core values or goals? Does it genuinely improve my life? Or am I chasing a fleeting feeling? This one habit changed everything for me, moving me from unconscious reaction to conscious direction. Take a moment right now to visualize what your life would look and feel like if you were consistently directing your money towards your highest values. How would the daily stress decrease? How would your overall sense of fulfillment and purpose increase? The payoff isn't just wealth in dollars. It's wealth in peace, control, and a life well lived. Okay, you've journeyed through understanding your financial landscape, identifying where your money really goes, and uncovering the values that truly matter to you. Now, as we bring this conversation to a close, let's crystallize the most crucial insight. So here's the core takeaway, the absolute heart of conscious finance. Your money isn't just numbers in an account. It's a powerful, active tool. And your values? They aren't just nice ideas. They are the fundamental blueprint for the life you deeply desire to build. Conscious spending, then, is brilliantly simple at its core. It's the deliberate, intentional act of using that powerful tool, your money, to construct the very life dictated by your personal blueprint. Think of it less like being on a strict diet and more like being a skilled carpenter, choosing the right nails and wood for a specific, beautiful structure you envision. It's not about endless restriction. It's about precise intention. It's not about cutting everything out. It's about strategically directing your resources. People often underestimate the sheer inertia of unconscious spending. If you ignore this fundamental lesson, if you continue to let your money flow out of your life without truly knowing where it's going or why, you are almost guaranteed to stay stuck on that frustrating financial hamster wheel we talked about. You'll keep earning money, working hard for it, and yet watch it vanish, leaving you with nothing substantial to show for it. This isn't a moral failing. It's simply a lack of direction. It leads to that pervasive feeling of stress, of being out of control, of always being just a little bit behind the curve. You end up chasing fleeting dopamine hits from impulse purchases. That new gadget, that extra convenience coffee, that spontaneous online buy, instead of diligently building lasting security, genuine fulfillment, and the freedom to pursue what truly energizes you. You'll reach the end of months, years, maybe even decades, look back and genuinely wonder where it all went, regretting the opportunities missed, the experiences foregone, the security not built. All because your money wasn't consciously directed towards what truly mattered to you. It's a tough truth, but when your spending is unconscious, your money controls you, dictating your stress levels and limiting your options, instead of you controlling your money and directing it towards your dreams. But here's the genuinely good news, the empowering twist. You can absolutely change that trajectory, and you can start right now, today. You don't need a perfect zero-based budget with fancy spreadsheets or budgeting apps right this second. You don't need a massive six-figure income to gain control. What you need, above all else, is consciousness. The single most important, practical, and entirely doable step you can take today is incredibly simple, almost deceptively so. It builds on the self-awareness you've gained. Here is your action prompt, your starting line. Identify one single, small area of unconscious spending you may have noticed in your own habits. Maybe it's that one subscription you never use, a specific daily impulse habit like the afternoon soda run, or a convenience purchase you could easily swap. Or, if that feels too restrictive, identify one core value you recently clarified that you desperately want to honor more explicitly with your money. Got that one thing? Good. Now, decide on one tiny actionable step you will commit to taking in the next 24 hours to align your spending, even just slightly, in that specific area. Cancel that one unused subscription right now. Skip that one impulse buy today, and here's the key. Transfer the money you would have spent into a separate savings account or digital envelope earmarked for something that does align with a value, like travel fund or education savings. Or, if you chose a value, allocate just $5 or $10 from your current funds to something specific that visibly honors that value. Maybe buy a book related to a skill you want to learn, or put that small amount into a specific family experiences fund. Just one step. Make it conscious. Make it intentional. It's not about perfection. It's about direction. This single conscious choice is the rudder that starts turning the ship. This is where you stop letting money happen to you and start making money work for you. This is where you direct your dollar, not just spend it. This is where you begin, actively and powerfully, to shape your life, one conscious dollar at a time. The cumulative effect of these small, intentional steps is where true financial power lies. It's how you build security, cultivate freedom, and ensure that your money becomes a force multiplier for your values and your vision. In the end, remember this: your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.